Okay, so dire wolves, right? I
Yeah.
mean, everyone pictures like these massive prehistoric beasts, maybe even some like mythical creature, from Game of Thrones or
Right.
something. But get this, dire wolves aren't just fantasy anymore. They're like walking around right now. Scientists actually did, they brought them back.
It's pretty wild, right? I mean, we're talking Canis dirus, like the real deal, the species that roamed North America thousands of years ago. And now they're like alive again. It's a pretty big deal.
No kidding. And we've been digging into this whole project. Like, how did they even do this? The science is, well, it's pretty amazing, actually. So, uh, first things first. Why even bring back a dire wolf? What's the point of all this?
Well, on one level, it's like the ultimate scientific challenge, bringing back an extinct animal. I mean, that's huge, but there's more to it than that, like a lot more. Think about wolf conservation. A lot of wolf species today are struggling.
Right. Yeah.
So the idea is that, like, the dire wolf, with all its, cool factor, could really grab people's attention and get them excited about protecting wolves in general.
Takes sense. Yeah. Like use the past to help the present. Right.
Exactly. And not just, wolf conservation specifically. It's about getting everyone, especially kids who, they might know dire wolves from TV shows and movies, getting them interested in science.
Yeah, totally. Like a gateway to like bigger scientific ideas.
Right. It's all connected.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
the why. But then comes the giant problem, right?
Yeah.
How do you even find dire wolf DNA? They've been gone forever.
Yeah, that's the big one. And you'd think, oh, Brea Tar Pits, tons of dire wolf skulls, easy, right? But it doesn't work like that.
Oh yeah.
No, the heat and the acid and the tar, it messes up the DNA. All those skulls, they're great for like understanding dire wolf history, but not so much for getting their genetic code.
So they're basically useless DNA wise.
Pretty much, the DNA is too broken up. But there was this big breakthrough about 6 years ago. They found a dire wolf tooth in a cave. It was like 13,000 years old, and they got some DNA from it.
Wow, from just one tooth.
Yeah, it was a huge deal, like proof that you could find dire wolf DNA.
I bet they were excited. But I'm guessing it wasn't enough.
You got it. It was only like 0.15x coverage of the genome, and you need way more, like 10x coverage, to really get a good blueprint. Think of it like trying to read a book with just a few sentences here and there.
Oh, right. You'd be missing most of the story.
Exactly.
So, okay, they had a tiny piece of the puzzle, but not the whole picture. What did they do then? Keep looking in caves.
They did keep looking, but the real find came from a museum, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they were going through collections, which is like super important for this kind of research. And they found this dire wolf skull, way older, like 73,000 years old. And here's the kicker. It was found in a riverbed.
Okay, so how does a riverbed help? Like, is it better than being frozen or in another cave?
It's different, right? Like permafrost, it can freeze things and preserve them really well. But a riverbed, it's more like a slow and steady environment, not as harsh, not as much change. So things can last longer without getting totally messed up. And they focused on this specific bone in the skull called the Petrus bone.
But what bone?
Petrus bone. It's tiny and super dense. It's in the inner ear, and it's basically like a little DNA vault.
Really?
Yeah, it's so dense it doesn't really break down. So like even after all that time, the DNA inside is more likely to be intact.
That's so cool. So this tiny bone had like the best chance of having good DNA. But how do you even get to the DNA after all that time?
Well, it's a delicate process, but with the right permissions, they were able to like carefully extract the Petrus bone from the skull. And you know what? It worked. They combined the DNA from the skull with the DNA from the tooth, and boom, they had 13 to 14x coverage of the direwolf genome.
Wow, that's amazing. They went from like barely anything to a full blueprint. And I know there's a ton of technology involved in this, right? Like AI and stuff.
Oh, yeah, big time. You've got all these tiny fragments of ancient DNA. It's like a huge jigsaw puzzle. So they use AI and special software to like put the pieces back together, figure out the overlaps, and build the whole genome.
It's crazy to think about. So they have the genetic code, they have the technology. How do you go from that to like an actual breathing dire wolf?
That's the really mind-blowing part. And a lot of it is, top secret. But the bottom line is they did it. They created living dire wolves. Right now they've got 3. Romulus and Remis, they're males. And then there's Khesi, she's a female.
That's unbelievable. When they were first like born or whatever, were there any cool moments?
Oh, yeah. So Peter Jackson, the filmmaker, he's involved in the project, and he saw a video of the dire wolf pups howling. He was like totally blown away. It was the first time anyone had heard that sound in like 10,000 years. And get this, he had just gotten the throne prop from Game of Thrones that same week.
No way. You can't make that stuff up.
I know, right? So anyway, this all happened during a vet check for the pups. Just like a crazy coincidence.
That's a great story. So we've got dire wolves. They're alive. They're howling. Are they, like, out in the wild now?
Not yet. They're living in this huge, secure preserve. It's 2,000 acres. Not exactly the wild, but it's big. And it's got everything they need, 24/7 care, a vet hospital right there, the whole 9 yards.
Right. Safety first.
Exactly. And they've got experts from the American Humane Society and, like, top vets involved. They're even vaccinated. That's super important, introducing a species that's been gone for so long.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what have they learned about these new dire wolves? What do they look like? How do they act?
Well, they're only 5 months old, but they're already 80 pounds and 5.5 feet long. And wolves grow for a while, so they're going to get even bigger, probably like 20 to 25% bigger than modern wolves.
So, like, true to their name, dire.
Yeah, definitely. And genetically, they've confirmed they're white. There was this old theory that they might be red, but that's out the window now. And they've got this, like, mane-like fur, even the females.
Huh.
Yeah, Khesi's too young to really show it yet, but it's there. And their baby fur, it feels almost like a polar bear's.
Wow. White with a mane. They must be stunning. What about their behavior? Any of those old instincts still there?
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, they get fed bison and horse meat, but they're starting to show hunting behaviors already. The plan is to, like, give them carcasses to really bring out those instincts. It's pretty amazing. We're seeing those 10,000-year-old hunting genes coming back to life. And their size, too. By comparing the genomes from the tooth and the skull, they could see which traits were always there, like the consistent features of a dire wolf.
That's incredible. So those instincts just, like, stayed in their DNA all that time.
It seems that way, yeah.
We were talking about their names before, Romulus, Remis, and Khesi. Any special meaning behind those?
Oh, yeah. They're not just random Romulus and Remis. They're like the legendary founders of Rome. So, ancient power, origins, all that. And Khesi, she's named after a character from Game of Thrones.
Ah, okay. So a little nod to pop culture.
Exactly. Gotta keep people interested.
So back to their daily lives. What's it like for them at the preserve?
Well, they get their bison and horse meat, so they're well fed. And to keep them busy, they get, like, elk horns and stuff to chew on, kind of like giving a dog a bone.
Makes sense. So last question. With everyone freaking out about dire wolves being back, is there, like, a ton of security at this preserve?
Oh, yeah. Security is huge. They're not saying where the preserve is. They learned from other projects where people, like, showed up unannounced and it caused problems. So they're keeping it top secret.
Smart move.
Yeah. They even edit the videos and pictures they release so no one can figure out the location. These animals are, like, super valuable.
No kidding. It's pretty unbelievable, this whole thing, bringing back the dire wolf. It's like something out of a movie.
It is.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, right? Like, what are the limits of science? What else can we bring back?
I don't know, but it's exciting, right? Well, thanks for talking us through all this. It's been a wild ride.
Anytime. It's fascinating stuff.
Thank you for listening, and see you soon with another one.
Thank you.